trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
And a good afternoon to you today, folks. I'm Casey Cantz. Thanks for joining us. Our top story today, the ACLU announcing today it will formally file a class action lawsuit against RIPTA and United Healthcare. This after a data breach last year resulted in 5,000 RIPTA employees and another 17,000 non-RIPTA state employees to have their personal information be breached. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Tregellis joining us live now in Providence, where a short time ago the ACLU announced even more details into this lawsuit. Yanni.
Well, Casey, the ACLU is alleging negligence against the two entities and seeking compensation and protection for the affected parties. And they're also asking questions like how United Healthcare can send a file like this to RIPTA unencrypted, and also why it took RIPTA more than 4 months to notify the affected parties once they did learn of this data breach.
It is now more than a year since this breach occurred. Yet we still don't have answers to many basic questions.
That's why the attorneys for the ACLU of Rhode Island say they are filing a class action lawsuit against RIPTA and United Healthcare in search of answers and compensation for the more than 20,000 current and former state employees that had personal data hacked, including their social security numbers and other healthcare information as a result of a data transfer between UHC and RIPTA that failed to encrypt data.
Totally incomprehensible that an entity like United Healthcare, being part of one of United Healthcare of New England, as part of one of the largest health insurance companies in the country, would not have encrypted data and would send a file to RIPTA.
Now, more than a year later, with the victims of the breach still without answers on how this happened, the ACLU has stepped in, filing this lawsuit, claiming negligence against the two entities, saying it took RIPTA 138 days to notify individuals after discovering the breach in August of 2021, while state law says you must do so within 45.
If we don't get those answers, then we think it will be way too easy for something like this to happen again.
The lead plaintiff in the case, Alexandra Morelli, a URI employee. She says around the same time of the reported data breach, she started to lose thousands of dollars from her savings account and noticed fraudulent activity on her credit card.
I've never had anything like this happen to me before, so the timing of everything.
And the ACLU also saying today that they have set up an email for any parties that may have been affected by this data breach, and that email is riptadatabreach@riaclu.org. That email going live today. If you're watching at home and may have been affected by this, you can reach out to that email and get in contact with the ACLU. For now, we're live in Providence. Yanni Tregellis, ABC6 News.
Yeah, we'll have that information on our website as well, abc6.com. Yanni, thank you for that today. Let's switch gears, take a live look outside right now. Much of the same as we were experiencing this morning and really last night, too. You see that fog and coverage out there this afternoon with our ABC6 Sky Cam. Want to get a full check of that forecast here. Check back in with meteorologist Chelsea Priest. This is what we've been dealing with all day, Chelsea.
Yeah, it hasn't changed much, that view. It's just gotten a little brighter outside with the sun rising, but dense fog in place this morning, and it's a damp day. We have temperatures that are in the low to mid 60s right now. Dew points also in the low to mid 60s. We see dew points in the 60s in the summertime. That's considered a muggy day, and that's where we're at right now. We are looking at overcast conditions, and there's no real rain outside today, but there's definitely that damp feel to the air. The fog has been super stubborn, sitting at 0 miles up in Boston, less than a mile still for Smithfield and Providence. Better in spots like New Bedford and Westerly, but other spots still dealing with really limited visibility, and that's what we'll continue to see kind of on and off through the afternoon. A lot of clouds in place, some sprinkles, some mist, some drizzle, but again, no real rain in our forecast for today. That does change as we head through tomorrow. What you're looking at today is the damp conditions, temps slightly above average in the mid to upper 60s overnight. We stick with the fog, the mist, the drizzle, the scattered showers. But tomorrow there is the potential for some heavy rain in spots. I'll have a look at your full forecast in just a few minutes. Casey?
All right, Chelsea, thanks. We'll check back in. More history being uncovered in Central Falls. We told you yesterday about the human remains that were found at a construction site there. That location coining Central Falls as Sparkle City back in the day, as it housed one of New England's largest drug operations. ABC6 News reporter Natalie Nuri has been following this story. She joins us live in the newsroom with more details. Natalie?
KC, human bones were found at a construction site in Central Falls yesterday on the grounds of what used to be known as one of New England's biggest cocaine operations. The Sportsman's Lounge on 55 Sheridan Street was shut down in 1990 after police discovered the owner, Hector Garcia, was leading one of the largest cocaine empires in the Northeast. The bar was demolished, and it was an excavator on the new property that found a human skull yesterday.
It used to be a bar years ago here, so now they're gonna. The guy from La Cazone, the guy who owns that big restaurant over there, the two brothers, they bought the whole corner, and we were supposed to put 4 stores and 8 apartments.
Silva says he grew up with Garcia's son. Back in the day, he knew the family always had money, but never knew where it came from until Garcia and his bar were busted, giving Central Falls the nickname Sparkle City. Now, I've reached out to medical examiners as they look to identify the bones that were found and have not heard back yet, but we'll continue to follow this story and the history of the site on ABC6. For now, reporting in the newsroom, Natalie Nori, ABC6 News.
All right, Natalie, very interesting. Thank you. Also today at noon, we are continuing to follow the latest on those national test scores that show the devastating toll of learning setbacks of the nation's kids caused by the pandemic. The National Assessment of Educational Progress, or the NAEP, found an average of 4 out of every 10 8th graders failing simple math, and also found no states showing notable improvements in test scores. In Rhode Island, less than 25% of 8th graders are proficient in math, with slightly over 30% showing proficiency in reading. Providence Teachers Union President Mary Beth Calabro telling ABC6 there needs to be a change in the way you're teaching students in the remote learning era.
They suffered from isolation. They suffered from loss. They suffered from grief that if we were in school for that year, we could have addressed better. I think we need to redesign the way that we deliver not only instruction, but our social emotional supports to kids.
And Ride Commissioner Angelica Infante-Green releasing a statement on the scores, citing COVID disruptions for the poor test scores, while the State Expenditure Council is calling this a statewide crisis. We're also following some developing news out of Boston today, where we have learned former Secretary of Defense Ash Carter has died of an apparent heart attack. Carter was former President Barack Obama's Secretary of Defense from 2014 through early 2017. He was also the director of the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs at Harvard's Kennedy School. His family describes him as a beloved husband, father, mentor, and friend. He leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Secretary Carter was 68 years old. A Warwick fire captain honored for his recent life-saving work. On October 15th, Captain Andrew Sisson was off duty surfing in Tiverton when he spotted a struggling paddleboarder. Captain Sisson got over to him, got him to shore, which was more than 30 feet away. He then performed CPR until rescue crews got there.
I think in situations, a lot of people, they wait and think somebody else will help, and that's not usually the case. If you find yourself in a situation like that, I think it's best to help in any way you can.
The victim was awake and alert by the time they arrived at the hospital. Still to come today at noon, we're going to have the latest from St. Louis after a community there is in mourning following yet another deadly school shooting. We'll have more, plus another popular brand dumps Kanye West. And this is a big one, too. We're going to tell you who. And the interim director at the Department of Health weighs in on new RSV cases in kids, and it's overwhelming of Rhode Island hospitals. Those stories and more coming up. Welcome back. Checking national headlines today, and yet another deadly shooting in our nation's schools. A teacher and a 16-year-old student were killed, 7 others wounded at a high school in St. Louis. Police killed the gunman, who was a recent graduate of the high school. ABC's Aaron Katersky has the latest.
Teacher Jean Kutska died trying to protect her students.
She cared about those kids. Like every day she came into school, she put herself between them and harm, between them and danger. She was the embodiment of love.
Kutska taught phys ed at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School in St. Louis, which came under fire Monday morning by a recent graduate.
Suspect in this incident is Orlando Harris. He's a black male, 19 years of age, and graduated from the high school last year. No prior criminal history.
Report of a shooting at the high school. Scene is not secure.
Responding officers saw students on the roof awaiting rescue after the shooter opened fire on the 3rd floor with a long gun.
Upon hearing gunfire, they ran to that gunfire, located the shooter, and engaged that shooter in exchange of gunfire. The suspect was struck and transported from this location.
It was over quickly, but not before Kutska and a student, 16-year-old Alexandria Bell, were killed. 7 others were injured.
My friend have all blood on her hand, and it was like she seen the shooter, and the shooter came to her and said, "You ready to die?" And just see her just screaming and crying.
One student was taking video during the attack.
Everybody line up in a single file line, okay?
Belief at reaching safety soon turned to disbelief.
It's sick that people want to have the attention to kill kids. Like, it's crazy. Like,
Police are still working to determine a motive. They declined to say how the shooter made his way into the school through doors they said were locked, but they did reveal he was armed with 30-round high-capacity magazines. So had it not been for their near instantaneous response, the police believe this could have been worse. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
And now to the growing backlash against Kanye West. You can now add Adidas to the growing list of those ending their partnerships with the rapper. Adidas has partnered with Kanye since 2013. West's talent agency, CAA, has also dropped him, and MRC Entertainment has shelved a finished documentary about Kanye West, saying it cannot support any content that amplifies West's platform. All of this coming after the rapper repeatedly used interviews and social media to perpetuate stereotypes about Jewish control of the media and financial institutions. Now to a focus on your health. An increase in child hospitalizations due to RSV putting a strain on Rhode Island hospitals. It's part of a concerning trend nationwide. Rhode Island is one of 3 states with more than 94% of pediatric hospital beds full. Hasbro Children's Hospital says they're operating at 120% capacity due to RSV cases. One doctor telling ABC6 News the spike could be related to people dropping COVID prevention habits. Adding simple measures can help stop the spread, she says.
Cover your coughs and sneezes, wash hands frequently, avoid close contact with the other people, such as kissing, shaking hands, sharing utensils, especially if they're sick.
And just over state lines, Connecticut Children's Hospital has had its pediatric unit full for weeks. Officials there seeking help from the National Guard and FEMA. Still to come today at noon, Chelsea will have a full look at your forecast. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Well, this right here has been the scene for most of the morning across almost all of southern New England. Some of us have seen some minor improvements with visibility, but Block Island right now is still dealing with that really dense fog. In Providence, we have quarter-mile visibility. Same thing for Block Island, quarter-mile visibility, 1 mile visibility up in Smithfield. You can see spots like New Bedford and Westerly getting a better reading coming in on those visibilities outside this noontime, but overall still overcast, damp, and dreary as we head through the day. Temperatures at least are a bit warmer. We're in the mid to upper 60s range where visibility has improved, and Westerly sitting at 70 degrees right now, well above where we typically should be for this time of year, well above where we were yesterday at this time, about 5 to 10 degrees warmer in most locations, and we have a few mild days ahead of us. The average high is 61 degrees. We started the day around 60 degrees, well above where we typically should be starting in October morning. 42, the average low for this time of year, and we're going to hover around 60 degrees once again overnight, so those temperatures don't drop all that much. We don't have much wind to cool us down. We're looking at about 5 miles per hour coming in from the east, a relatively mild wind direction. So today, tomorrow, and Thursday, we'll be hovering in the upper 60s, close to 70-degree range. Now, a front's going to come through as we head through late Thursday and into Friday, and we are going to see those temperatures drop significantly. It's a bit of a trade-off. Thursday are one day that we get sunshine and the warm temperatures, but sunshine will continue for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're just much more seasonable as we head through the last few days of October. Outside right now, a lot of clouds, some mist, some drizzle, some sprinkles. No significant rain in our forecast for today. Much wider view is going to show you the cold front that's off to our west. This will come through relatively dry. We'll actually be tracking some moisture from a potential tropical system, although the risk is a little bit lower this noontime than what we were looking at earlier today. That's out towards Bermuda. You can see there's just that small area under a moderate chance of development into a tropical depression in the next 48 hours, about a 40% chance there. That being said, there is some tropical moisture that's associated with that little area, that disturbance, and that is going to lift our way. And we have the potential for some heavy downpours in spots tomorrow. Not today. Today we get a break from the heavy rain. It's definitely still cloudy and damp though. We'll continue to see some spotty showers at times overnight, but it's tomorrow that we'll be tracking the potential for some heavier showers to move into southern New England. They'll be hit or miss. It looks like the best chance of some heavy rain comes for far eastern Mass, out over the Cape, out over the islands. For most of us, we continue to see more of what we're seeing outside today. A lot of clouds, some scattered showers at times. That continues into the late afternoon, early evening, and then finally we start to dry out and clear out. Big high pressure system comes into control for Thursday. Thursday is still mild, highs in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees with some sun. But as we continue to clear out overnight Thursday and into Friday, you're going to see those temperatures dropping. So enjoy the mild temperatures. I know the great weather isn't with us, but at least it's warm. Upper 60s with some fog, some sprinkles, some showers outside. Overnight dense fog again, clouds, sprinkles, mist, drizzle, all of that. And then tomorrow you have some scattered rain. You may get some heavy downpours at times. Temps in the mid to upper 60s range. We head through your 7-day forecast. And again, Thursday probably going to be one of our better days on that 7-day with sunshine and highs around 70 degrees. But as we continue to clear out, it'll be back to reality on Friday. Waking up in the 40s, afternoon highs in the 50s. More seasonable for the weekend, but temperature-wise, we're getting a little bit spoiled right now. Unfortunately, we don't have the sunshine to go with it. It's just, I mean, miserable out there today. It really is. I mean, the mist, the drizzle, the fog, all the things.
Thursday will be nice.
Thursday looks nice.
So I guess we'll look forward to that.
There you go. Thursday's that kind of transition day where we tap in on the sunshine and the mild temperatures, and it looks nice through the weekend, just much cooler.
Especially,
like fall.
Yeah, it is. I guess that's it. It is fall, right? Late October.
What we would expect for this time of year.
All right, Chelsea, don't go far.
Yeah.
You're coming back to introduce us to Borat, an adorable 8-month-old Corgi Shepherd mix. Stay tuned for that.
Pick of the Litter. Brought to you by Moriarty's Invisible Fence.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday. That, of course, means it's time for Pick of the Litter. And our friends from the RSPCA have brought with you a puppy today. This is Borat, and he's only 8 months old with that puppy energy.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So Borat is an 8-month-old Corgi Shepherd mix.
Right.
He just came back to us because he wasn't getting along with a cat in the home. He wasn't nasty to the cat. He just really, really wanted to play with it.
He has that shepherd energy.
Yes.
And like you said, the corgi ears and the shepherd energy.
Right.
So a good home for Borat would be one that we can get his energy out.
For sure,
Okay.
for sure. Somebody who goes on a lot of hikes, maybe has a really big backyard.
Okay.
We think he'd be really fine with like teenagers plus, like 13 plus.
Okay.
No cats, but maybe a dog. He's dog selective, so it could work.
It could work out. And that could be a good way to get some of his puppy energy and his shepherd energy out.
Yes.
Because it's the combo of both, the
Yes.
breed and the puppy energy. Not little kids, though, because he is a little rambunctious, right?
He is, and
okay.
he's herding breeds on both sides, so sometimes they'll like nip at little kids as they
Sure,
walk. So.
right. Try to herd them into,
Exactly,
into
exactly.
different areas. Okay, so we need to find Borat the perfect home, one with a family that will get some energy out and some older kids. But otherwise, I mean, he's an adorable, cute pup who will be a great fit for someone.
For sure.
Yeah, all right. If you are interested in Borat, you can contact the RSPCA at 401-438-8150 or by visiting the website. Thanks, guys.
And thank you, Chelsea. We've got more on the way. Stay with us. All right, it's back, but you got to order it soon. McDonald's bringing back the McRib, Chelsea, starting on the 31st. The chain saying it is the popular sandwiches farewell tour, saying that after this, it will not be sold nationally for a while. It's been popular, came out in the 80s, been popular, kind of a cult following ever since, but they're calling it the farewell tour. I don't think it's ever going to go away.
I don't think so either.
They're
going to do this again and again and again. I've never had it. Have you?
You haven't? Oh,
No.
yeah.
Is it good?
Oh, yeah. I like it. I like it. I mean, it's what it is. Barbecue sauce,
Sure.
pork, and a sandwich. You know, it works.
All right, got it. Well, if it's the official farewell tour, maybe I'll have to try it. We are looking at fog and dreary conditions out there. There's sprinkles, there's mist. No real heavy rain today, but tomorrow the potential of some on and off showers, which could be heavy at times. Then finally, we'll get some sunshine on Thursday.
Everyone should try it at least once.
Exactly.
There we go.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Chelsea, thank you. Thank you, folks, for watching as well. The news continues, first at 4, and we're always online, too, at abc6.com. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.